It is so over. What in the fuck was that, bro? I'm still in absolute disappointment over what happened this last Saturday. This guy at the age of 38 thought he was 24 years of age, throwing a jumping roundhouse kick out the gate and blew out his knee in literally seconds into the fight. All of that build up, all that anticipation, all that hype for what? There's been a lot of speculation over whether or not Conor came in injured. According to him, via this tweet, he said that he was never injured and practiced that kick like 1,000 times, but I don't know. He couldn't take his pants off without having his knees buckle. I think this was just simple wear and tear, injury or not. A 38-year-old with a hog rider haircut is not going to have the knees to take the impact of a jumping attack. He may not have had an actual injury, but man, the way this dude was walking was very, very questionable. And I think Dustin is right. Look at the dude's face. It's only been 5 years, but it looks like he's aged 10. He does look insanely bloated, and I know what that orange skin means, man. This guy was on a yacht in the middle of the Mediterranean for most of the year. His lifestyle isn't going to just reset after a couple months in training camp. He was drinking and partying nonstop. One training camp and aura farming isn't going to solve all the other problems. Also, look at the side-by-side comparison of the walkout. The eyes never lie, Chico. The fire and youth and vitality he had just 5 years ago has completely washed away. In another tweet, he's still clinging on to dear life and claiming he's still gonna come back stronger and better than ever. And he did say on the Ariel Helwani show a couple weeks ago that he is locked in for another fight in his contract early 2027. But man, after that piss-poor performance, it's time to move on from Conor McGregor. We are done with Conor McGregor in the Big 2-6. The fans and the casuals and the masses will always support Conor McGregor, of course, and will always push him front and center. This was an amazing card that was stacked to the brim with talent, and we saw some fantastic performances from rising contenders. Patty got that nasty quick submission over Benoit Saint-Denis. Mario Batista got it back against Corey, giving us an underrated thriller. Loney Kavanaugh and Brandon Royval gave us the banger of the card, and it was a sick back and forth fight. We had a classic YN versus Unk fight that ended in a first round finish. But it didn't matter how stacked of a main card this was. Conor will always take precedent, and unfortunately, he had to headline this card and destroy the momentum of this card after 4 amazing ones. And that's the problem with Conor now. The UFC is trying to sell us the once was of Conor McGregor, the prime Conor McGregor, the one who talks shit but also walked shit too. And because Conor was like that at some point, he will always take precedent of every single card and any single card he fights on, and he will be the guaranteed headliner. But truth be told, we haven't seen that version of Conor McGregor in literally a decade now. Conor knocking out Eddie Alvarez at Madison Square Garden with the classic, the double champ does whatever the fuck he wants, was the last time we would ever see prime Conor McGregor. And this was in 2016. Because after Conor fought Mayweather in 2017, by his words, he was on a yacht doing things he shouldn't have done, which was obviously not good for this fight with Khabib, where Khabib finally took his soul in the octagon. And then, yes, he won against Cowboy, but I also don't think a 36-year-old cowboy that was on the tail end of his career was a good measuring stick of how good Conor was at the time. Then we get into Dustin taking his soul and Conor getting knocked out for the first time in his career. Conor tried to bring back prime time with his heavy kick approach in their third fight, and man, Conor looks so well conditioned here, but he had lost a step, and Dustin caught Conor early, and eventually we all know what happened. So yeah, it's been a pretty damn long time since we've seen a prime Conor McGregor, and I'll tell you right now, that ship has sailed. It will never return. It's sad, man. Even Max knew Conor shouldn't have belonged in there and asked him why he came back, to which Conor started tearing up a little. So, you gotta face it, at this stage of his career, Conor will never even come close to being the face of the UFC again. That superstar Conor is a shell of his former self, and if you haven't moved on, now's the time to do so. So what's next for Conor McGregor? Because, you know, even though I think he's over, he's still locked in for another fight in 2027. The only thing that truly makes sense at this point is, of course, him fighting Michael Chandler. Finally give it to Michael, man. He's been through enough already. He just had to fight a semi-prime Conor McGregor like a couple months ago and got smoked. Please just give him the Conor fight. He deserves it, and we wouldn't be wasting another contender's prime. Simply put, 2 unks way out of their prime, coming off horrible losses, going out there for one last time makes too much sense. And it's a guaranteed goofy knockout for either of them. And at this age, it's like a coin toss to who I think would win. And yeah, I hope to God that's the last time we see of Conor. He's old, far from being a contender, and we can finally lay to bed the Conor name once and for all, because we just don't need Conor anymore. It's obviously very hard to move on from a name like Conor because of how much he's done for the sport at some point. He was bringing in A-listers and the casual fan to the sport. He turned MMA from a violent niche weird thing that you just watch on Spike TV to a global sensation and legitimized the sport, in my opinion, to the masses as a sport that could be next to boxing, basketball, or soccer. But we don't need that anymore. The sport's already been established. Now we have stars like Ilia Topuria, Charles Oliveira, and Alex Pereira who have reached the masses themselves. We don't need a singular face like Conor anymore. We're done. And the lightweight and welterweight divisions are doing better than ever. Like I said, lightweight has Ilia, who has turned into a superstar of his own, and with an all-time upset from Justin Gaethje, him being champion switches up everything in this division. Paddy with a huge win over Benoit Saint-Denis showed us that he isn't just a scouser with a fan-friendly personality and look. He can legitimately be a top contender again. Arman has been marketing himself so well to the point that I'm surprised that a lot of my friends who are casuals actually know Arman. Charles Oliveira has always been Charles, and with a win over Max, he just continues to solidify himself as a star. Max Holloway is still a huge name and is probably going to fight soon, considering he didn't take too much damage here. He could face Paddy, also considering he didn't take damage there either, and Paddy even said he was willing to fight Max right then and there, and after the Max Conor fight ended the way that it did, might as well give them each other. And then you go to welterweight, which was the weight class Conor was supposed to dominate in. Islam is a pretty big name in the sport right now, and his fights with the young, dangerous contenders make this division very interesting. Islam facing Ian Gary is big for the division, and I think it's going to be a very high-level matchup, even though this card sucks balls. Carlos Prates is such a damn killer, man. That recent performance against JDM was brutal. Michael Morales is a big boy that fights insanely chaotic and is always a fun time. And I know JDM and Sean Brady have dropped down, but I still think they can make very fun fights with other contenders or just between themselves as well. So as you can see, each division that Conor was supposed to be a star in or was a star in has completely moved on. They have stars of their own, and the future looks very bright for both. Again, I don't know who needs to hear this, but my boy Roma especially, it's over. The Conor McGregor era, what once was over a long time ago, even before this fight. But if anything, this fight really solidified that Conor is just a shell of himself. He just doesn't have the lifestyle of a martial artist anymore. He is just trying to hold on to the name that made him and the UFC so big, but we've moved on. It's over. I don't know if I'm going to be hyped for Conor's last fight. It's kind of like Israel Adesanya at this point. It's kind of sad to see him go out this way, but I hope that this is actually Conor's last fight in 2027. He's locked in for a next fight, and I really hope for Michael Chandler's sake that it's him, and I hope it's a clean, nice ending for the both of them. Anyways, what do you guys think about Conor McGregor today? Is he going to continue to pull in the masses, and is he going to ever return to form, or is it truly done? Did you actually believe in Conor McGregor's return? Was he ever going to make a solid return with that performance? I don't know. I think he's done, and I think we should just move past him. But anyways, thank you guys for watching, always supporting, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.